Now we are going to have Ivan Gonzalez-Soto, a graduate student in the Interdisciplinary Humanities program at the University of California, Merced. And Ivan will be presenting a talk titled Creative Approaches to Community Engagement During COVID-19, Research and Resources Through Speculative Fiction. Welcome, Ivan.
Thank you, Daniel. Hi, everyone. My name is Ivan. I'm a interdisciplinary humanities PhD student at the University of California, Merced, and my work bridges critical race and ethnic studies, history, and environmental studies. I explore questions about water in the American West, racialized labor, and agrarian capitalism. But lately, I've been thinking about these things through comic books. So let me bring my slide up here. Okay, so about a year ago, I started thinking about comics in terms of community engagement, and especially during the pandemic. A year ago, I was wrapping up a fellowship through the Henry Luce Foundation, and I was collaborating with the local environmental justice organization while learning methods and best practices in community engaged scholarship through a graduate seminar on campus. Both the fellowship and the seminar were meant to show how humanities research could affect local, regional, and even national dialogues on key issues, and I was specifically looking at water. So last February in 2020, I was in the midst of finalizing my fellowship project and planning for a series of presentations in the community to share my work around rural California. I had previously gathered voting data from local water districts, and my community partner and I were interested. We wanted to know if, how, and really to what extent rural communities of color were represented in the state's water monitoring systems. I was also looking forward to sharing my my report with the public to kind of make sense of this thing that we call water governance. And our goal in all of this was basically to share information on how local water is managed. And we hoped in that process to recruit community members who could then get involved in participating on how their local water is managed. Then the pandemic hit. Our campus, like many others, switched to virtual mode, and my plans to present publicly were scrapped. All the while, friends and family were testing positive for COVID-19. Declension narratives poured in through the daily news, and I sat at home in perpetual doom. My coping mechanism was reading speculative fiction to imagine alternate futures in which things do actually start to get better. And I got lost in the speculative futures of Octavia Butler, Fernando Flores, and Keek Araki Kawaguchi. And it started to look something like this. Their stories would soon lead to this form of inspiration. And as I was hoping for change and searching for the silver lining, I eventually found one, and it came through an extension on my fellowship. Through this extension, I was able to adapt my research dissemination plan, which in hindsight was rather dry because I was thinking of these standard public presentations in English for a predominantly Spanish-speaking community. So I decided to take this extra time and do something I cared about while creating something that others might also care about too. I love reading speculative fiction and began to brainstorm ideas about turning my project into a comic book. And I drafted ideas with my community partner. We made up a fictional town in California to communicate the ubiquity in water justice issues, and then reached out to a local artist to help communicate these ideas through her illustrations. And she liked the idea, and I adjusted my fellowship funds to bring her on board. We soon developed a 6-month timeline, worked on a storyboard, and created this bilingual comic book called Thirsty for Change, or Sed por Cambio. And it's in the process of being published through the University of California's e-scholarship database, and will be available later this year for anyone interested in viewing an electronic copy of this for free online. I was also able to adjust funding to print physical copies of the comic book, which my community partner and I plan to share through local classrooms, educators, comic book shops, and the likes in the near future. In terms of the outcome with all of this, it's helped me kind of reimagine the distribution side of humanities research with ideas that kind of go beyond linear text or traditional academic publications. And most importantly, though, it's helped me find ways to make information more accessible and meaningful to the general public. And at the moment, I'm currently brainstorming ideas on how to turn my dissertation into a graphic novel for a broader audience. If you'd like a copy of our digital comic, please feel free to send me an email. And to kind of close off, my name is Ivan. I'm a grad student at UC Merced who's thinking about comics to talk about social justice, history, and the environment with the public. Thank you.